Hello and welcome to a wonderful evening with me, Steve England from Steve England Outdoor Learning. Tonight I am supporting Greening Maindee here in Woodland Park in Newport. And as part of the project, I'm going to be leading a bat walk here tonight to see how many bats we can identify and also to see if Woodlands Park is a suitable bat roost. If it is, what makes it a good bat roost? We've got our echolocators and we're going to go and see how many bat species we can find. So by the end of this video, guys, we'll see. So guys, have a look at the tree. So what we're trying to work out tonight is this oak tree suitable for bats to live in, yes or no? What do you think the bats would need to stay warm? Can you see any holes? Look. That looks like a hole, but it's not. Have a look around the tree, guys. So the only little hole I can see, there's one at the top there. See him at the top there? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this tree for bats to sleep in? 1. Out of 10? 1. And then I'll give you my prediction. 1, so what? This is where I get to play auctioneer now. What do you reckon? Good tree? Are there lots of holes in there? Are there broken branches? Can the bats get inside the tree and stay nice and warm in this tree? I reckon a 1. 1.5, I'll go with that because there's one little hole. So if there were bats in this tree, it would only use that little hole up there, look, see? So I think then, guys, on a scale of 1 out of 10, I'd give this a 1.5. Let's see if we can find a really super 10. Do you want a stick? Did you want a stick? Guys, look, can you see that bird there? Guys, who's got the binoculars? Look, see that little bird? See him on the branch? Look, can you see him? So that is Britain's smallest species of bird, which is called? Yes, well done, goldcrest, and you find them in conifer trees. Can you see how busy the bird is? Yeah. What do you think it's doing? Yeah, looking for insects because they're insectivores. So if you do have them in your garden, put some mealworms out for them because they don't eat the seed. But there you go, that's nice to see Britain's smallest species of bird before we start. We might see Britain's smallest species of bat tonight as well. But I want to go and find out where it's going to be living, if it's here. Let's go. There's one bird that's very interesting, and it's a bird called a cuckoo. But they fly all the way up from Africa. They don't build their own nests. They lay their eggs in other birds' nests, and by July, they're all the way back. So the interesting question is, why don't they just stay in Africa and lay their eggs in other birds' nests in Africa? Why do they have to fly 3,000 miles to do that and then go all the way back? Don't know. It's just one of those quirks of nature. Why fly 3,000 miles to lay eggs in a nest and then go back? When they can stay there, maybe they're just genetically programmed to migrate. Have you seen the size of a cuckoo chick compared to a reed warbler? Oh, yeah. It's like putting a ping pong ball on top of a football. Yeah. Every day is a school day, right? Can you see these hedges here? What can you notice about this hedge that's really interesting? Why do you think the moths will be here? Yeah, because of the flowers, exactly that. Flowers release ultraviolet light. So if they're glowing in an ultraviolet light, the insects will see it. Where you've got areas of long grass like this is exactly the place where moths are going to be living during the day. See these patches of long grass? And they'll come up later on, and the bats will know that, and they'll come in and feed on the moths as well. Yeah, wow, crikey. You've got some yellow rattle.
You see what the train is?
Yeah. Ah, right, wow, crikey.
That's mad, isn't it?
Can you see the wildflowers here? See all the lovely wildflowers here? Can you see where these flowers here have grown much taller than those over there? Yeah. And that's because they've responded to more water, because apparently this is a drain line running through here, and you can see where it comes out there. You see? You see that green line? So these plants are getting more water than those, and look how they've responded. What a difference. Here, this is an interesting plant, this one. Oh, yeah. Yellow rattle. Well, yellow rattles are semi-parasitic plants. They do produce their own food through the chlorophyll in here, but also they feed on the roots of the other more aggressive grass, which allows the diversity of some of the more rarer grasses to spread. The reason why they're called yellow rattle is because when these seed pods dry out a bit later on, you can rattle them like the rattlesnake tail.
Also, an interesting thing about them is that the farmers of old used to listen to the rattle, and it was then time to cut the hay.
Excellent. There you
Yeah.
go. That's old farming techniques.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they weren't too far of the mark either. Yeah.
So guys, can you see there's a stone in there? So hang on out, where's our cameraman? Who's going to roll the stone over? Go on then. So let's see if there's anything underneath it. Yeah, oh wow, yeah, look at that. Oh, got it, I got it. Oh, not any beetle, this is a lesser stag beetle. Wow. Look, can you see? Can you see the, can you see? Right, so they bite. Okay, yeah, can you see the pinchers on it?
That's amazing.
Can you see the pinchers on it? So that's good. This is good. To find a lesser stag beetle in this environment is really good. The only reason why it's here because of the rotten wood. That shows how valuable rotten wood is in any environment for invertebrates like this, like a lesser stag beetle. Can you see what the beetle's doing? It's playing dead. So the beetle's playing dead. The reason why they play dead is because predators won't eat a dead beetle because they don't want to get a pathogen and make themselves sick. So they leave them alone. So if this was to run off, the instinct of a predator is to chase it and catch it, and it knows that. And I've watched ducks sit still where dogs have been around and the dogs have just left them alone. But when the moment the duck gets up running, it triggers a chase reaction in the dog. So if you get stalked by a lion, okay, you stand still. Can you see the jewels on it, look? Can you see?
Oh boy.
Can you see? Yeah, if it bites me, it'll hurt. What a find. And so can you see all the holes in the wood? That's caused by its grub, its maggot. You might even find one in here. You're lucky. But look at this. All this is done by the larvae. But what it demonstrates is the value of dead wood for all the invertebrates. Because this really does start your food chain off. Because there, I can see mushrooms there. These are southern bracket mushrooms. Yeah, there's one there, look. There, it always fell off. There you go. Yeah, so this is the mushroom. This is called a southern bracket mushroom. And can you see why the tree's gone all woody like this? Can you see that? So this mushroom is causing the wood to decay because the mushroom is eating the wood, and now the wood's nice and soft, the beetles can come in and lay their eggs in there and hunt in there and all sorts. So on a scale of 10 for habitat, that is a 20. Just that little stump like that. You wouldn't think it, would you? But it is. That's more valuable to wildlife, that stump, than that tree there. Those two trees put together. Look, and here, can you see that hole there? That could be a wood mouse. The mice. So the mice will go in there and they'll overwinter as well. What a super find.
There's a slug on it. There's a slug.
So that, guys, just a small little piece of dead wood like that just demonstrates how valuable it is for wildlife. Not the big wildlife that we see, but the small micro worlds. Hey guys, look, that bird coming over. Guys, here's the swift. That's all the way from Africa, that bird. And to think that when they leave the nest as chicks, they don't touch solid ground again until they reach breeding maturity, which is about 2 years. They sleep up on the air as well. They sleep up when they're flying. They do. They're hypnotic. They go into a hypnosis. Like that. Like fish, you ever see fish in the ocean swim in circles? When you see fish do that, they're sleeping. Okay guys, so we're going to go up into the woodlands and see what we can find in there. Let's have a look at some of the trees. Have you noticed the light's fading now? Let's go guys! Let's go! The light's starting to go, so I think in about another half an hour, I want to go into the woodland environment and I want to look at some of the trees in there to see if there's any trees that are going to be suitable for bats. Okay, because we need to work out if this is a good bat roosting site. So what we've got in here, guys, are some white flowers on the floor, and these are wild leeks. Wild leeks. Have you seen that wisteria up in the top of that tree? Look through there. Can you see wisteria? I've never seen it up a tree before. Wow. Yeah, look at the height. I've never seen wisteria. Well, it's a climbing shrub, so if it grabs hold of anything, it'll climb. But they've got some wisteria, probably 30 foot up in a tree. I've never seen that before. That's interesting. That one's the purple flowers. So that's from Japan, Japonica, Japan. The white flowering variety is Chinensis from China. Have a look at the trees. What do you think? Do you think, looking at these woods, that you'll find bats in here, in these glades? I think so. I think this will be a great little microclimate. Well, it's not about safety, it's about food availability. Microclimates where it's warm, dry, the moths will be in here, the bats will come in here, because bats will, the bats will follow their food. So if you've got a small warm microclimate like what you will have in here, where it's warmer, there'll be more insects flying, and the bats will know that and they'll come and feed here. I would put any money on it, this is a place where you will see bats in here.
How much money?
If I had 10 quid on me, I'd give you 8 quid.
That's generous.
Yes.
Well, more than one girl.
Yes.
More than I am.
What do you think about the trees? Mainly sycamore in here.
Oh,
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being poor, 10 being good, what do you rate these in here? Yeah. How many?
9.
Okay.
You like them, do you?
So if you look at the trees, they're very healthy. There's no holes in them.
Yeah, is it it? Oh, yeah.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that cheep, cheep, cheep noise over there in one of these trees?
Yeah.
Yep.
That are the chicks of a great spotted woodpecker. So therefore, I think they're in that stump there. See that stump there? That's where they'll be. When the woodpeckers are finished with the hole, that would be a very suitable bat roosting tree. They won't just tap into a tree like this. They use soft wood that's rotten, because it's easier to peck into. If they tried headbutting that, they give themselves a brain ache. Watch these brambles here, guys. Have a look at this tree, guys. Do you think this is a good bat tree or not?
5.
Have a look. What do you reckon? Any holes in the tree? Can't see any. Yeah, so I give that a 0. Now if that was a gnarly old oak tree with lots of hollows, and that would be a 10. But they do love old oak and ash trees, because oak trees hollow out naturally anyway, and they get right inside of them. Yeah, especially over winter roosts. So if you make sure you keep your hands through the, keep your hands through there. You keep your hands through the, yeah. You sure you guys keep your hands for, do you want to?
No, I
Right.
got a stick.
Oh, so keep your hands through the handle. I'll explain what they are. You have one, John? I've got one. Right, okay guys. So when the bats are flying around, how come they don't bump into trees when they're flying around? Yeah. Michaela Strachan, everybody. Michaela. Yes.
Well, they use echolocation.
Thank you. That's what we're waiting. Well done.
Well done.
So can you tell us what is echolocation? How does it work?
They use sounds to feel. They bounce sounds off different objects so they know where they are.
Exactly that.
Brilliant.
Your career is really set out for you already. It really is. Yeah, so when the bats are flying around, guys, they're shouting. And their sound waves hit a solid object, and that sound wave goes back into their ears. And bats can echolocate at 50 times per second. So to get an idea of how a bat can see at night, if you hold your finger in front of you and blink as fast as you can, when you've got your eyes shut for that millisecond, you can still see your finger in your mind. Speed that up by 50 and you'll have a permanent 3-dimensional image of your surroundings in your head. Bats can see, and they do have good eyesight. So these machines, guys, when the bats are flying around shouting, we can't hear them. Well, adults can't, maybe you kids can, because our hearing's a bit worn away, shall we say. So the noise of the bat will go in through a speaker, through a microphone here. It reduces the frequency and it sends the noise out so we can hear it, okay? You see your dial on the right hand side? That's it. So that's your on-off switch. And then your dial on the opposite side, if you move that, can you see the numbers moving? That will be your frequency, and I'll direct you to what frequency to put them on. The probability is tonight, if we see small bats, we'll go to 48, 45. If we see larger bats, we'll go to 20, 25, in between there. And the button on the side is a torch. And if we hear a bat, we'll hear a vast, like that, very similar to that. How many species of bats do you think we have in the UK, guys, in this country?
9.
9?
9.
18. So we have 18 species of bat that live in this country all the time. Here is a chart of all the British bats here. There you go. You see them there? So all the bats that we have in this country are small bats, micro bats, and they're all insectivores. What does that mean, insectivores? They eat insects. So all the bats eat insects. The most popular bat, or the most commonest bat, is a pipistrelle. And the largest bat we might see a bit later on is a noctule bat or a Serotines bat. There won't be horseshoe bats here, unlikely. Does anybody know what the name is of a baby bat? What the name of a baby bat is called? Somebody said Kevin the other day. Okay. Baby bat is called a pup. Bats have one pup a year. Okay. So this time of year, the pups are starting to leave their roosts and they will fly with their mums on their mums' bellies. And we have seen them once where there's a pup flying on mums. We've seen it once, yeah, on a noctule bat. Yeah, so who knows what we might see tonight. What we'll do is we're gonna follow the edge of the woodland. There's no point going down there just yet, because I say the sun's going down and the bats are gonna start to stir any moment now. So our challenge tonight is to see how many bat species we can find with our echolocators. It's still early, they are nocturnal. So what we need to do is go and find a microclimate, because you're not gonna see any here. Why do you think we won't see any bats here, guys? What can you feel? Windy, which means it's going to be cold. So we need to go and find a warm microclimate. If you find a warm microclimate, the probability is that's where the bats will be. Okay, let's go. So it's still early, guys, so the sun's fading. So we found a little microclimate in this glade here, and because it's so much warmer, there's going to be more insect life. If there's more insect life, the probability the bats will be in here. It's just a waiting game now. This is where they'll be, for sure. It's nice and calm where we are now. The wind's dropped in here. Outside there it was very windy, very cold. In this glade environment, it's warmer. So, I say, this is where I'm going to put my pound. If the bats are going to be anywhere, they'll be in here.
Well, you on there, Kathy?
That's Uber. That's Deliveroo. Yeah, no, that's Deliveroo. One of the things that having an echolocator does demonstrate is the volume of noise pollution that's up there. And see if I can demonstrate with this one. The hissing noises. That's all the air pollution, the noise pollution that's up there that we don't normally hear, but these echolocators pick it up. All the bats that we've got here, guys, they echolocate when they're hunting. They shout through their mouths. Horseshoe bats don't. They echolocate through their noses. That's why they've got a flap. And the sound of a horseshoe bat is completely different to the other bats because they're using their mouths. But the horseshoe bats, the greater horseshoe bat and lesser horseshoe bat, they use their nose. They sort of shout through their noses. It's like tuning an old radio with the dial. You're like, woo, woo, that. When a bat is sleeping, it can't just wake up and fly off. And that's why they're protected by law. They can't do it. It's like, that's a bat. Above your head. There you go. 45. 45. Up you go. Do you see that bat? I said you blink, they come in. So we found the microclimate and it's proved us right. So guys, put your echolocators on. They are directional. Number 45. Remember how I showed you? So did you see how the bat just come in and it will come back? And that was a pipistrelle. So what it does demonstrate, guys, is what we've just been saying. We found a microclimate, it's warmer and the bats are coming in. There's some pterosaurs there. Pterosaur saved the. Oh, it's a dinosaur, a flying reptile from the Triassic period. Google pterosaurs when you go home. So we've seen a bat already. A bat's just flied through, and what that demonstrates is that we found a microclimate. It's warmer in here, and already a pipistrelle's come through. So, what it demonstrates is bat intelligence. They know where the microclimates are. Did you all see the bat?
Yes.
Good. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. And so if there's a tiny little bat flying out in the open there, what do you think might happen to it? Yes. What would eat a bat is the question. What eats bats? An owl would, yeah. I did a walk in Bristol once where there were pipistrelle bats flying around the edge of the trees, and all the crows were sat on the edge of the tree. And as the pipistrelles were flying past, the crows were flying out trying to catch them. So crows will, gulls will, basically anything that can catch it will. And once we saw a bird called a hobby chase a bat and catch it. It's like a small peregrine falcon, very agile. So that's why the small bats tend to stay hidden out the way, because they get eaten. I can hear bats. There's bats in there as well where we were. They're coming out. It's approaching the witching hour now. The sun's going down, it's starting to get dark, and already we've seen 2 bats. So fingers crossed, fingers crossed. We turn your torch off, save your battery. That's it. Make sure you've got your hands in there. That's it. So if you, that's it. Just so you can't drop it. Well done. Did you hear the noise of the bat? So that noise that you heard on your echolocators are the bats shouting, they're hunting. Can you see how warmer it is here compared to that in the middle there? Look, there's no bats in the middle because it's too windy, too cold. And the echolocation, if you see a bat on the floor, it's either a very baby bat, a pup, or it's injured, something's wrong with it. So if you do find a bat on the floor, you need to report it to your local bat rescue, okay? There you go, above your head. There you go. So they're starting to come out now. So the reason why bats hang upside down is multiple reasons. Evolutionary, their pelvic bones haven't developed enough to take their body weight yet. Also, here it comes. Hooray! And also, if a bat lands on the floor, they don't have strong enough chest muscles to power flight off the floor. Because only the bigger bats can. Some of the bigger bats, the smaller bats can't do it. So if you get a bat flying into your hair, there's something wrong with the echolocation. The echolocation is so sensitive on a bat they can detect spider's web. And the long-eared bat doesn't always echolocate because they've got a big ear and a small ear in the front. And their hearing is so sensitive they can hear the wing beat of a moth. And they can fly up to it and catch it in the air. But what's interesting, and this is the evolutionary arms race that's always going on, because now moths can detect the sound wave, the sonic pulse, from a bat echolocation. It knows it's coming after it. It can detect it, so they just fold their wings up and drop out of the sky. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it done. Fascinating. There's always an arms race in the natural world, always. Guys, should we walk over to there, to that corner? Yeah. So put your echolocators on, keep them on 46. I can hear one somewhere. So remember, they are directional. So if you see a bat, follow it with your echolocator. Oh, they're here. They're here. Is everybody hearing the bats? You have to point them up. Point them up, follow the bat. There's one here somewhere. Here you go. Yeah, he's in here. Guys, come in here, he's in here. You in here, by the sound. Hey! Are you getting this on film? So what you're listening to on your echolocators are the bats shouting. This is the bat's echolocation. So the bats we're listening to are common pipistrelles. And if we had larger bats here, they would sound completely different. A much slower echolocation on the larger bats. You got it? There you go, behind you. In that corner, he's coming back. There you go, over there. They're fast, aren't they? Way! If you stand still, it'll come over your head now. They'll be back in a moment because they have a routine. They go back and forwards. Let's walk down this way, guys. Let's go and find them. Come on. I reckon here. Can you hear it? Right, guys, on your echolocators, listen out for the noise. That's when you hear that phantom raspberry blur, when you hear that noise, that's called a terminal feeding buzz, and that's when they've caught an insect. So if you hear a little buzzing noise on there, that's when they've caught an insect of some description. And what's happening, so let's say this hand is a moth and here's a bat, and it's chasing it and shouting, the distance between the bat and the moth shortens so quick, all you can hear on the echolocator is a noise, because the echolocator can't keep up with the speed of the echolocation distance. So that's why you hear it. And you notice that we're in a microclimate here, that's why the bats are here. They're very intelligent bats. Yeah, there's none up there because it's too cold. So they know where the warm areas are, they know where the food is. There you go. Bats are flying mammals. Did you hear that then? Did you hear the noise? So it's just called, yeah, so listen out for the noise. Whoa, do you hear that? Yeah, so it's just caught an insect. A terminal feeding buzz. Can you see how quick they can turn? If it was a long-eared bat, which you may well have here, they fly completely different. Long-eared bats almost hover with a very feathery flight. Well, you need a better light, yeah. It is illegal to shine a light on a bat because they are a protected species. You can shine a white light on a fixed location and the bats will see the white light and they'll make a decision whether they want to fly through it or not. But you can't follow them, it's illegal. Woo! Guys, if you look at the street light out there, when I was a child, back in the 1970s, a long, long time ago, I know, all the street lights had spiders' webs on them and all the flies were trapped in them when I was a child. And I used to sit and watch all the bats flying around, catching the moths around street lights. Look at the lights there. Can you see anything on there? Or any others? No, you can't. It's because there's been a massive crash in the insect population. Massive. There's multiple reasons for it. 97% of our wildflower meadows have gone since the Second World War. Loss of habitat, agriculture, all sorts of things. And the wrong frequency of lights as well. Those lights out there, they're LED lights. And they're giving off the wrong frequency to attract moths. It has to be the right frequency of light. Well, there you go then, guys. Greening Maindee. We're here at the Woodland Park in Newport. Very successful bat walk tonight. We've seen lots and lots of common pipistrelle bats with our echolocators. The kids have been brilliant. We've had a fantastic night. And what is demonstrated is Woodland Park here is a great bat foraging site. What a success. Woo!